Yeah.
Yo! Hey guys, welcome into Auto Rhythm Fantasy Sports. I'm your host, Jamie, and co-host on the other side, Mr. Eli.
We're back, baby.
God,
After
God damn.
we had a bye week, didn't we?
Well, I guess you could say a bye week.
That's what we'll call it.
A bye week. We needed time away from the channel. We were going crazy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Jamie had to move some stuff, and I had
Well,
to move.
I still have stuff to move.
I gotta help out with that, man. We gotta get that cranked out. Gotta get it done.
Yippers.
But
Yeah, for sure.
in the meantime, let me enjoy this this 818 tequila shot. Man.
I don't know. Oh, I guess I don't have anything here. Here, I'll enjoy
Kickstart?
with my
That
rocks.
works.
Yeah, kickstart. Mm-hmm. For
Oh,
sure, for
yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, since it's been a while, the last time I seen you was I think it was our last show like a week ago, and you had issues with your freaking cell phone and
Yeah.
being all. So your battery went to shit, and then what happened? Your screen, you broke your screen or some shit.
So the battery went out, like, and so I didn't know that it was just I never had a bulging. I've had a bulging cock, but I've never had a bulging, never had a bulging battery before. So it was probably like that for about a month. I didn't even pay it. I thought the screen or the case was kind of messed up. So I was like, I didn't think anything of it. So battery was cooked. So I replaced that. They kind of mentioned the screen, but you're like, well, okay, maybe this will do the trick. But you dig a little deeper, and it's like, well, this, it's a 12 Pro, so it's not the newest on the line, but it's still a decent phone. And I was like, well, I could probably, if I replace the screen, they got me an aftermarket one for like $300. So I figured,
Yeah.
I can get another year and a half, 2 years out of this phone. So I just kind of, instead of going out and buying a 14, I was like, I'll just stick with this. Is a good phone. Just stick with this. So that's what I ended up doing. But yeah, screen was giving me, issues, man. Probably the top 30% of the phone was numb. Like it wouldn't react to touch at all. So yeah, if any listeners out there got to deal with this shit, it's better. You're better off new phone or a new screen. Don't. It's useless. I mean, like everything's touch now. I mean, unless you're 80 years old and have a Nokia phone from 2003 or some shit. Like this is all touch screen.
Or a nice handy BlackBerry before I actually got my iPhone.
Those BlackBerries were the shit back in the day, man.
Oh, dude, I was all BlackBerry back in the day for sure, man. I was all, and then it was. I mean, the software wasn't great because they were kind of slow, and it was this kind of bad software back then. But I mean, if BlackBerry actually did shit with their phones, actually like made their phones badass with apps and stuff like that, hell yeah, I'd probably go back to them. But I'm an Apple guy now, so it'd be hard for me to kind of go back.
Same year. They didn't keep up with the times. Might as well.
No, they didn't. Well, Well, they actually tried to. They actually tried to keep up with the times. I mean, they had some BlackBerry phones. I think they still do make Blackberries, but they're not common over here much. I'm sure they're more common over like in the big cities and for stock markets and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure. See, we're simple folks out here in South Dakota. We like our iPhones. We like Apple.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I forgot to mention too a little bit earlier. Yankees win. The Yankees win. The Yankees win. Look at this, man. They beat the Guardians 5-1. So, I was watching. Man.
Shit.
Took a little cat nap after work, and I woke up and I was watching the rest of the Yankees game. And yeah, it was rained out last night, and I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna get this in, but yeah, 5-1, baby. So it's Astros and Yankees, and then in the NL, it's Phillies and Padres. You've been following any of that since fantasy season?
I mean, I've been trying to follow it as much as I can here and there a little bit. I mean, been trying to kind of keep up with baseball a little bit, even though it's kind of like I'm kind of in the mode of football now and whatnot, so
You got to
just one of those
compartmentalize.
things.
You got so much going on right now
Yes.
with moving and all the fantasy teams and the show here. Like, yeah, but I know, but so I've been following it for you. That's what I do. See,
I mean, I've been trying to keep tabs and
yeah, step in when you can.
yeah, I've been trying to keep up. Well, I mean, I've been trying to keep tabs and stuff and not try to get really kind of get over too or overly bound, I guess. I'm just trying to do what I need to do.
Yeah, we all like to be bound every now and again. I like being tied up personally myself. Another shot at tequila. No, we got some headlines down there, man, on the scroll. What's some of the shit? Let's jump right into it, man. Ravens signed Deshaun. You think Deshaun's got anything left, Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah, I am not sure, honestly.
I thought he was going to sign with Green Bay. That's from what I was hearing, reading some articles.
Yeah, I heard that he was going to maybe be with Green Bay or something like that. And, I wasn't quite sure. He was ready to go and whatnot, so it's kind of like, is it really true? It's kind of one of those things. It's if he was actually going to play and whatnot. And I guess, I don't know. I mean, for me thinking him going to, the Ravens, does that mean, now I can't think of his name now. Fucking, is he that far hurt? I guess you can put it that way.
I mean,
Bateman. Yeah, is Bateman that far hurt where he's not going to be playing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think Duvernay has been a breakout guy for the season so far. I mean, he's had a couple stinkers, couple duds, but I mean, for the most part, he's been a solid number 2.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Well, I like him.
I think Duvernay would be a great number 3. I think if they're trying to win a title, I think he's a great number 3 receiver. I don't think he's served. He's been serviceable at the number 2 spot. Bateman. Yeah, I mean it's up in the air, but I mean Deshaun Jackson's not really a replacement for Bateman at this point. I mean, 10 years ago, Deshaun Jackson was one of the best receivers in the league, but now it's It's the same thing with Odell. Julio Jones, AJ, like all the guys that we remember, being studs, years ago. I don't think he's got anything left. I mean, he was with Tampa for a cup of coffee a while back. Obviously, his days with Philly, what he did with the Rams and Raiders last year. I mean, I think he put up about 450 yards or something. So, I mean, you might be able to get like maybe one decent game on it, maybe an 80-yard touchdown kind of, just because he's a big play guy. I mean, you might get that one bomb 60-yard grab. I mean, he's still capable of that, but in terms of high volume of, targets and production, he's not that guy anymore. I think it's kind of a footnote signing in my opinion, but
yeah. For sure.
I'm sorry. I'm too laser focused in on that Jim Beam hoodie. Doesn't that look good? That look great.
Hoodie. You mean?
He looks like. I was telling him before we started. I'm like, you look like Tyrone Biggins from or Biggums from Chappelle Show. I smoke rocks. Boy. I smoke rocks.
I was actually gonna see here. Where nope, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, where's Jared at?
I don't know.
He take a bye week too, so we take a week off.
well. Chad's here. Hey, Chad, are you actually feeling better now? I know you were sick there for a little bit.
Oh, did Chad have the Rona?
I don't know. I wasn't sure. He was sick for a little while. Freaking Govier, he was sick. He actually posted him hacking up something. I'm like, dude, that looked like dude, you're a virus, man. I think you need to be a little
you're a virus.
whatever you choked up, man. Yeah, I know it's I know it's kind of been, I don't know, I've been off and on a little bit here and there, just in the discords and stuff like that. So I mean, I haven't been too much involved with some of this stuff a little bit. I've just been kind of out of it lately. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
either way, I mean, there's some
here.
lot of interesting stuff. I mean, shit. I mean, this is week 7. I mean, fuck the week. The season's going by pretty damn quick. We're into
Dude,
bye
it's
weeks and
flying.
stuff like that now. I
It's
mean,
flying.
the first
I
bye
mean,
week.
it's getting darker outside now. The starting to get
It
into the season a
is.
little more. And you
Yeah.
can't have NFL headlines without having a Dan Snyder update. This guy's a clown. Okay, the
Yeah.
Commanders is a terrible. I mean, they beat the Bears. Oh well. I mean, come on now. I mean, Carson Wentz is
Yeah.
a bum. The team name is stupid. They couldn't have come up with something better than the Commanders. It's a dumb football team was actually better than this. It's just it's
Yeah.
I hope they do vote him out. Hope that he's a clown. He's been fighting the system all these years. It's like, dude, you're not a good owner. They've had a couple decent years. The last since their
Yeah.
heyday back in the 80s and early 90s and stuff. I mean, they've been a terrible franchise. I don't know what do you think about Dan Snyder possibly being voted out? I would get his ass out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would have to agree. I mean, he's not really helping the team out. It's just more drama headlines and stuff like that for that team, and they don't need that. I mean, they're a good team. They just need, some good personnel around them to show these guys what they're capable of doing. And they're a good team. I mean, I was actually kind of a fan to kind of see how they're going to do, especially when they got Brian Robinson back. I mean, I actually played him last week. He put
Good.
up he put up 12 put up
12,
not quite
12 points.
yeah, 12 points. He had a touchdown. He didn't quite get 100 yards, but I mean, I think he had 60, 70 some odd yards. He had a lot of carries, so I mean, that was a plus. So that helped out. But yeah, it's one of those things. I told
the go ahead. There's
well,
Chad again.
Yep. No, I was just saying that I
Stone
told
Cold Steve
some
Austin.
guys. I told some guys like, yeah, you should get him get Robson in your lineups because I think he'll get a touchdown, and he ended up getting a touchdown. Then he was the only one that actually did get a touchdown in the whole game. So I mean, it was kind of a piss poor game. I was kind of not happy with the game, but either way, it was a shit show. Fields looked like shit.
I think it's the quarterback. I think it's the owner. It's obviously the quarterback. You could argue Heineke has been better the last 2 years for them than Wentz. I mean, he looked good week 1, but other than that, he's been a total scrub. He's put up some garbage yards. I mean, he's maybe had like another 300-yard game or something, but those are garbage. I don't buy into that. So you got and Gibson. Gibson showed he's got something. I mean, he's still a younger. He's third year back. I mean, Gibson's not eight-year running back. I mean, they've got a decent running back. Now that Robinson's healthy, you got decent running back tandem, decent receivers. We both like Dotson, the rookie. Oh yeah. We'll get into that, Chad. I got my 2 cents on that clown Bubba Wallace too. That's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this team. I think the decent, a lot of decent stuff. I would say like upgrade a tight end. Maybe another. Maybe a little bit of help on the offensive line. But I think Ron Rivera is a decent coach. I mean, yeah, they're not that. Just get rid of the owner. I mean, Carson Wentz goes to a new team every year now. Just get rid of him too. Just wash your hands. Wash your hands.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know. Washington's been not too bad. I mean, I just think there's, it just varies a little bit. I mean, each team's gonna have their issues and whatnot. But I mean, either way. It kind of is what it is sometimes, shit happens.
So
I mean, Heineke, I do like him. I mean, I think he's just a little bit better than Wentz just because he's been around in that offense for so long that he's capable of doing things that are actually unexpected. So it's kind of like, oh shit, dude,
I think I agree with you, but I think they give Wentz a pass too many times. Well, he's still learning the offense. He's new here. Well, obviously, but he whines and moans and bitch. I mean, he's obviously pissing people off in the locker room in the front office. That's why he's getting traded every year now. So obviously, Wentz has got some baggage. So you can't just put it all on. Well, he's still learning the playbook. They're still working the offense. No, you know what? If they want to save Ron Rivera's job, because he might get fired. I mean, they should fire Dan. I mean, Dan Snyder should lose the team too. But I think Ron Rivera, if they have a 6-11 season or something, I think he's getting fired. So if they want to save the season, I'd put Heineke in. And for fantasy, I would start Heineke over Wentz right now.
Oh yeah, right. If I have an opportunity to, yeah, I mean, I think I might actually do some moves, and I was thinking about that too. When I seen them, like, ooh, Heineke, I'm like, dude, he can put up some good numbers too. I mean,
he can.
even if it comes to garbage time, he's tossing that ball around or whatever he's got to do, and he might be a little bit lower. I mean, maybe 15, 16 points, if that, maybe even a little bit more. But I mean, he's not going to get you like 9 or 6. I mean, he actually puts up decent fantasy points.
Yes, I mean, what kind of production are we getting from Matt Stafford right now? What kind of production? I mean, Russell Wilson, like guys that were high freaking picks. Guys that were probably top 15 quarterback picks that are doing jack shit. You're not getting any kind of production from them. So why not go get a Bailey Zappi? Why not go and get a Taylor Heineke if he takes over? Why not kick the tires? If Dak's out another week, why not go kick the tires on Cooper Rush? If you're in deeper leagues or DFS, why not put some of these guys? Davis Mills, he's available in a lot of these leagues, and it's like guys like that. Why not? Why not? Because Stafford and Russ and I mean, I can get more into it in our league show on Friday, dude. But yeah, there's guys that are irritating me left or right. Don't even get me started on Keenan Allen. I don't even bring that man's name up. What about trades? What's going on with some trades here, Jay?
Oh, well. I can bring this up real quick, even though this might be old. But
God,
Keenan Allen,
no.
Well, so right now you mentioned Matthew Stafford. So he's a top 25 guy. He's 22nd right now with 76, or he's 23rd. Sorry, with 73 fantasy points. And right now, he's been through most of his week. Well, through week 1 through 6 now. He has maybe had one top 10 week. Other than that, he's been actually a top 29 2 times, a top 27, a top 23rd, and an 18th. So you can see where his consistency has been shit. So I mean,
we're 6 weeks into the season, man. If you've got him as your starting quarterback, whether you're 10-man, 12-man, whatever 16, whatever kind of size league you're in, or if you've used him for DF, I mean, you have been, straight sandpaper on the dick. You've been taking it in the booty hole because of how bad Matt Stafford and that offense. There's one guy that's been productive. CMC maybe. They're done. Denver, if they have any chance of salvaging the season, it's gonna be on defense. But in terms of offense, I wouldn't wait. How many draft picks did they waste on Russ? Getting Russ in there.
I know, way too many.
How many picks it's going to take to get CMC? He ain't going to Denver. No way.
Yeah. No way. Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna. I don't know. It's hard saying. The Bills. The Bills might be just quiet runners, but I don't think they will. Their backfield's already. I honestly.
I wouldn't waste the money. We should maybe we should bring that up, Jay. Where do you see if he is traded? Where do you see CMC going?
Well, actually, let's see here.
Because you can, we have it on the scroll on the bottom. We've got Melvin Gordon there. You can trade Russ for CMC. Maybe. No, but we see a couple on the bottom. We see Melvin Gordon. You could probably. I don't even know why Denver would be willing to get him up. I give him up. I don't see a lot in Boone. Boone's not a number 1 back to me, or even a number 2. He's serviceable, but if that's Denver, to me, if you trade Melvin Gordon, who's the best, now that Javonte's hurt for the year, if that's your best back on the roster, if you want to avoid a 5-12, 6-11 season, you're not going to move Melvin Gordon. But if they do, you can get Melvin Gordon a hell of a lot cheaper than CMC, and you don't have that injury. Melvin Gordon hasn't been the healthiest back, I should say, but CMC is fragile. CMC is great. I
Yeah.
mean, when he's on the field, but I don't know. Where do you see these two guys ending up? Melvin Gordon. Do you think he goes back to Denver or he's traded, or CMC same thing?
Well, with I think maybe he might stay. Well, if you think about it, I mean, Cam Akers, he'll probably more likely be on the move too. I'm just trying to think here.
Henderson Jr. looks. I mean, I thought that last year too. I think Henderson Jr. is a better back. I do.
Yep. I was gonna say maybe the 49ers, because they have so many mixed match backs, they should stick with one guy that might actually help their offense be better. But I mean, I could see maybe the Niners maybe going for CMC. That'd be a good spot for them.
Like, could you imagine a backfield that's got Jeff Wilson and CMC if CMC's healthy? I mean, that turns that with that defense and as clutch as Jimmy G can be, and obviously they need more. I mean, Ayuk, he went off, had 2 touchdowns on Sunday. You get that kind of production from him. I mean, Kittle can do a little more. Debo, I mean, that turns. You get CMC, that turns the 49ers into probably the favorite. One of the probably 2 or 3 favorites in the NFC. I think the 49ers can make a deep playoff run. Right now, I think they'll barely get into the playoffs if they do. But if they get CMC, they can make a deep playoff run. That's great. You brought that up. That's a great landing spot for him, I think.
Yeah, I could probably see Melvin.
Well, Chad brought that up. What do you think about the Falcons? I mean, they're
kind of that. I mean, yeah, they're kind of that same spot too. I mean, they got Darren Williams, or was it Darren, whatever Williams. Darrell, yeah, one of those 2 damn Williams. I mean, they've both been they both came from Kansas City. I mean, they're kind of pitch and go. They're not really like hard hitting, like built back like Melvin Gordon is. I mean, they got their other rookie too. I mean, with Patterson and Darrell Williams kind of being out. I mean, I know there was one guy in the Discord was had, who should I drop for somebody? I'm like, well, Darrell Williams, drop him, because there's no point. He's not, when Patterson does come back, he'll be the main guy again. And then you got Algier back there. So, I mean, I think,
yeah, Algier's the rookie. They're obviously they're going to be working him in. I mean, they just drafted him. And obviously Cordero. Was there a timetable on Cordero? Because that would make a big.
Well, he was an
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, he was on IR he was on IR for 4 weeks. So I mean, he's been out. So whenever his 4 weeks is done, he's eligible to come back. And I think that was
probably a week or 2 from now.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, he might be out for a little bit yet.
Yeah, so probably another game or 2. I mean, he's coming. I wouldn't. I don't know. I just wouldn't, for certain guys, unless you're in. I mean, Falcons aren't going to win a Super Bowl. I don't even think they'll make the playoffs. So to me, it's like, don't waste a bunch of draft picks on when your team's not in contention. When you're like an 8-win, 7-8 win team, I wouldn't go there. But I think, if you're the Bills, 49ers.
It's kind of
Ravens. I mean, you can't depend on J.K. Dobbins, obviously.
I mean, they're kind of that same mess too, because they have so many running backs that are just hurt, and you just don't know who's what and what, with the Ravens. I mean, it's, dude, those let me guess, the Ravens signed freaking Cam Akers, and he comes over there and it'd be more of a mess. So it's just
quote the Raven, nevermore.
Right? No,
yeah. But you could get Cam Akers pretty cheap, you'd think. Right, because he's another one of these like second, 3rd year back. You can get him.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably kick the tires on him. He'd be cheap. But yeah, CMC is gonna. I mean, he's the face of the Panthers. That's not saying much. Panthers are garbage, but he's the face of the franchise. I mean, you're gonna have to put up a pretty penny to get him away. So, yeah, I don't know about all that, but we kind of brought up a few landing spots there.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think so. No, I was just trying to think.
Now what about some of the receivers? Odell still hasn't signed with anybody.
No, Odell hasn't.
We had Robbie Anderson was traded to Arizona. The injury to Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown. It's I don't know if any of you guys saw it on Sunday, but yeah, so it's not going to require surgery from what I was reading. So he's only going to be out about 6 weeks, which, I mean, if you're, it depends on where your team is at. If you're a 5-1, maybe 4-2 team, in your league, you could probably just, IR, just bench him and kind of but if you're like my 16 man, I'm 2-4. If I lose a guy like Hollywood Brown, I'm screwed, man. Like I'm going to have to, I might have to drop him. You know what I mean? I might have to see if anybody's any guy higher up in the standings would make a deal and just give me some, just give me something for him. So it just depends on where your team is at. If you can be patient with Hollywood Brown until the playoffs. But do you see any production out of Robbie Anderson? Being
I don't know. I'm not sure where he's going
to. I think Rondale Moore. I don't know what you think about Arizona, but I'll bring that up quick. Rondale Moore. I think he could be the biggest beneficiary of these kind of 6-7 weeks that Marquise will be out. But I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I do like Rondale Moore. I was actually trying to look for him and actually in a couple leagues see if I can actually snag him up. But with Hopkins coming back now and then Robbie Anderson, that's going to be kind of interesting. It could be an actually very interesting combination of wide receivers. And I'm kind of curious to see I was hearing that, with Hopkins coming back, that Kyler was actually, his air yards were 10 times better when it came to with Hopkins being on the field. And so I know maybe it might be a little bit different. Rondale is actually, or Hopkins is actually not a bad guy. I know there's a couple guys who have him, but I was actually trying to look for him actually in my super deep league, and no Brano. So I was kind of like, shit. I was actually trying to look for Rondale Moore too, and he was snagged up. So I lost Brown. So I'm like, shit. I'm like, what am I going to do? I mean, because it's very slim pickings when it actually comes to finding somebody to replace Brown.
Well, his production. I mean, dude, he's been a top 10 fantasy PPR receiver all year. I mean, I don't know where he's at, officially where he's at in the rankings, but I'm guessing maybe 8th or 9th, in terms of production. I mean, he's been a great number one receiver for Kyler. The team doesn't have the results to show that, but I mean, just in terms of production, he's easily top 10 receiver. So I mean, yeah, it's a lot to replace. I mean, going and picking up somebody, you might be able to get. Who was I looking at?
Kyler right now, you were mentioning Kyler. He's actually top 6. He has 88 points. His consistency has actually been getting better. His first week was 26, second week was 38, and then his last 4 games, he was the top 3, 2 top 10s, and this last one, since he probably would have been a top 10 if he didn't get injured. So his consistency has actually been going up instead of down.
Yeah, no, I thought he was I know you weren't the biggest fan of him in Baltimore, but dude,
no,
I've been on him for a couple of years. I thought he was great in Baltimore. I thought that was dumb getting rid of him. I know he wanted big money, but I thought that I thought that might have hurt Lamar. Imagine having Bateman, a healthy Bateman, and Hollywood both healthy. For the next couple of years. I mean, Baltimore would be holding up a Super Bowl trophy. With that, but there's a kid I saw from New England, Thornton. That's what I was thinking of. You get a guy like Tyquan Thornton, or the kid from what the hell was that? He had like a breakout game. What the hell am I thinking of?
Pierce.
Pierce. Yeah, Pierce from the Colts. That's perfect. He's. And Matt Ryan, I still have my doubts. I think he's shot. Well, Eli, they're 3-2-1 now. He's a lot. I mean, he has. He's getting the stats, but watching him on TV, he still looks awkward. He just like he's not. He's never athletic, but I mean, the guy.
He had a pretty good week this week.
He doesn't pass the eye test. He's winning games and he's getting some garbage yards. A few touchdowns, but I mean that helps. That's helping Pittman. I mean, if you have Pittman on your team, or Mo Alley Cox if you're in a deeper league and you need a tight end. I mean, that's helping him a little bit. Pierce, that Pierce, he's turning into Indy's number 2 receiver.
He's looking pretty good, and I was thinking about maybe picking him up in a few leagues too. I wasn't quite sure on him yet because him getting how many targets he getting is fantasy point wise. So I'm just like, I'm still kind of hesitant. And I mean, if he's catching balls and Pitt's not really doing much, and it's just like, fuck, which direction do you go?
There's a lot of debates at this time of the year. There's a lot of like I said, it depends on where you're at in the standings in your leagues. We're 6 games in. If you're 1-5, if you're 3-3, if you're 5, those are 3 completely different scenarios. If you're 1-5, you're like, I got to salvage this year no matter what. You're 3-3, you're like, well, I can kind of tread water for a little bit. And if you're 5-1, obviously you're confident. And you're like, okay, well, I can kind of sit back and let some of this, let some of the waivers clear and some of these trades.
Most definitely.
Because the trading deadline's coming up in the league, isn't it?
That's why the deadline's coming up here pretty soon. I think couple more weeks, and then the deadline's passed. So, which is why there's more likely some trades happening, that's. So who knows? CMC, who knows? Maybe CMC does go somewhere. Maybe he doesn't, but you just never know. I mean,
gun to your head. Next 2 weeks, who do you think's getting traded? Like anybody in the league, or we'll say skill position, because obviously we don't care if a backup defensive tackle gets traded. I mean, skill position guys, who do you see getting traded? And I'll say who I see 100% getting traded.
You put me in a spot because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for this one.
What do we do here? All right. Then I'll start. I think Christian McCaffrey is 1,000% getting traded. That will happen. The Panthers are going to blow that up, dude. They just traded Robbie Anderson, who was like their number 2 or 3 receiver. He's gone. Baker and Sam Darnold. I mean, they're junk. I mean, they're probably gone after this year. They're gonna blow that whole. I mean, that's gonna turn ugly. I mean, they'll be a 3-14 team easy. I mean, you could go down the whole roster of guys that'll get traded from Carolina. If there was a quarterback hurt, I mean, if Tua was out for the year, for example, I could see somebody trading for Baker. If he or Sam Darnold, guy like that.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a decent veteran quarterback in there. But 1,000% CMC is getting traded. And if you were to put a gun to my head, I'd say Buffalo. I think the Bills are in super. I mean, they're talking about Odell right now. I mean, they obviously brought Von Miller in the offseason. I mean, the team. I mean, they look dominant. But I mean, the Bills are going for blood. They're going for this. They're going for that ring. So I think they're not going to stop no matter what. And if that means giving up Singletary and some draft picks or whatever they got to do.
Yeah. Well, maybe get maybe a Singletary and give up Singletary because I mean they drafted James Cooks. I mean he was built for more of that kind of heavy duty role. That their 1-2 punch kind of thing. And with Zach Moss and these 2 other guys kind of being in the fold, it's kind of doesn't help that cause.
They might complement each other. I mean, we haven't been the biggest fans of James Cook so far. But if he was a backup to CMC, let's say you do trade Singletary and some draft picks. I mean, Carolina gets Singletary's decent. You get a decent running back in return. You get some draft picks. You kind of because they got to scrap the whole thing. They're gonna have to rebuild that whole thing. Carolina, Buffalo. I think that'd be a nice running back tandem, especially next year when Cook is in his second year. I think he'll be a better bat. You have a nice 1-2 punch. CMC is, I don't think his career is going to last all that long because he's just fragile. But I mean, you get him while he looks healthy this year. You get him while he's healthy. You try to get the most out of him, and you go win that ring. So I think Buffalo, CMC, mark it down. Are you going to follow up, or are you thinking the same thing?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Baker gets booted out of
Baker. Yeah, I can see that. Where do you think? Where do you think the best spot for somebody like Baker or even Sam Darnold? Like a veteran.
Oh, maybe Sam Darnold gets traded too. Maybe someone that needs a guy. Maybe the Texans need an upgraded freaking, Well, maybe not, because if they do horrible, I mean, they can get the first round. They might be the team
That's
that
true.
actually gets the kid from Ohio State.
Yeah. Oh, was it suck for Stroud, or didn't they have like some catchy for CJ Stroud, like some catchy like?
Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe so. Yeah, maybe not. So yeah, but I think some quarterbacks might be in the move. Who knows?
Uh, moist. Yeah, yeah. It gets me moist too, Chad. That's why. That's why Jamie's gonna give me the old rub and tug on Friday.
The rub and tug.
Uh,
All right. Let's oh, here,
studs,
well,
studs yet
yeah,
or something?
yeah, let's get into that quick here, and then we
Okay.
can kind of, so, all
Yep.
righty.
Yeah. So I try to mix it up with studs. I try to do a kind of a star level stud, and then a guy who I think is kind of went under the radar. If you don't follow obviously you've seen the highlights of the bank. Most people saw the Jamar Chase. I mean, 7 grabs, 120 yards, touchdown. I mean, number 1 fantasy receiver this week in
Yeah.
PPR. But my boy, our boy, we were high on him in the preseason. We were talking him up in some of our preseason shows. Kenneth Walker,
Yeah.
with Penny going down for the year, and I mean some of the other scrubs they have. I mean, what Dallas,
DJ Dallas.
Jay Dallas, and some of the other
Yeah.
the fringe NFL running backs they have. I mean, this is the guy. He was a
Yeah,
stud.
no, most definitely.
Stud at Michigan State. Took a pound. Anytime a back goes over 20 carries, then I'm sold. Because sometimes you'll get you'll get 11 carries, 110 yards, and then it's deceptive because the next week, those same 11 carries might only lead to 30 yards, and then okay, where'd all that fantasy production go? Why did he only get me 8 points? You know what I mean? So I think that's a good indicator that he's going to be their number 1 back rest of the season.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
He's going to split. I mean, it's just what everybody does. I mean, he's going to split a few touches, but I think Seattle's number 1 back rest of the season. 97 yards, 1 touchdown. Who do you got for your guys?
All right,
we got baby.
Here we go.
Yeah,
boom.
Hell yeah. I love those retro Patriot jerseys. I wish they'd bring those back. I love those jerseys.
I know they're dope as. I actually like
those Falcon ones too. You got.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah, the Falcons ones, they were dope too. So two of my guys are both quarterbacks. I like Zappe. He's actually been playing pretty damn good. With him just coming in and just playing, and just out of the blue, no reps. I mean, the other crazy thing is that with Bailey and Thornton, they're actually getting a lot of time together, and especially with practice squads and stuff like that or whatever. So they're actually getting a lot of time together so that trust is getting built up between those two guys.
They build that rapport, and,
yep.
and it's going to hurt somebody else. Like we've seen it. When Mac Jones was in there earlier in the year, I mean, we saw maybe Devontae Parker, a guy like that. Devontae Parker hasn't done shit the last, so I don't think he's got that same level as somebody like Thornton. So if Zappe's going to stay in there, which I think he should, I think this is a hot take, man. I think Bailey Zappe is going to end up taking Mac Jones's job. I think it's good.
Maybe.
He's my backup I've been waiting on this because he's my backup quarterback in my 16 man, Mac Jones. So I haven't had to put anybody in yet, for Kyler, but I've been waiting on this. I've been waiting to see if Zappe's going to be the guy. And you have a couple more games like this, and if they're New England, they're up to 3-3. They keep playing like this, and we could have another Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe, situation from years ago where the guy
it could be
outplays him, and it's like, dude, we trust. And I've been high on Zappe. I know, mate, you're a big college football fan. You probably heard it. Oh, that's the kid from the small school throwing all the touchdowns. But no, he had 62 touchdowns in college. I mean, they don't just hand these things out. I mean, this ain't this ain't some fucking 11-year-old girls soccer league participation crap. I mean, he had to work to get those 62 touchdowns, which is an NCAA record. I mean, Now, need I say more? Bailey Zappi. That's the dude, man. He's got a weird name, but I mean, he runs that offense well. And I mean, look at the production from this last week. I mean, he just torched Cleveland. I mean, he tore him up.
Yep.
And
Well, I mean, he had yeah. You know, Zappi had a couple. He had a couple rough starts. I mean, he had top 31, 20, top 25. In his last one, he was a top 10 guy. But I mean, he's got a little bit yet to catch up with Mac Jones. He's right now he's only got 34 points. You know, Mac Jones has got 42. So I mean, maybe if he plays this next week, he can actually bump himself up over the top 30, you know, above the top 35 guys right now. But I mean, I like what he's doing. I mean, he's balling out. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you a little bit too, Chad. It all depends on who the quarterback is going to be. But I mean, I heard there's very possible that they're undecided who might start. You know, you never know when it comes to Patriots. They're always kind of a mystery. It's one of those things. But you know, if I would keep Bailey in if you're winning games and you like what's going on with the offense, why not? Why, you know,
he's dirt cheap, and he's dirt cheap in DFS. You know, if you're doing DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever, you know, if little chat like the Cup Challenge on Yahoo, whatever.
Yep.
1 week deals like Zappi is you can get the jet gel rag out right now. I mean, he's going to help you. Dirt cheap.
But
yeah, I don't know about like you were saying. I don't know about a season long commitment to him yet. You know, deeper league, maybe pick him up as a backup right now. I don't know about a full-time commitment to him yet, but in DFS or you know, like he's the dude. He's the dude right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Thornton, I think you know, it all depends on if you really need somebody. And you know, it's very hard because, you know, with us having to, let me kind of go in the kind of a 12 man here, just kind of briefly, just kind of see who's out there.
While you're looking, I'll bring this up. You know, I like to, you know, that's why you're struggling this year. You know, sometimes I like to wait. I like to see 2 weeks because I know a lot of guys pop. I mean, we got the kid from the Colts that had the 2 touchdown, the tight end. You know, what has he done since? He hasn't done a damn thing. Akins kid from the Texans had a 2 touchdown week. OJ Howard had a 2 touchdown week. They haven't done jack shit since. So, you know, a lot of these guys pop. I'd like to see one more, you know, in the next, you know, probably 2 games, at least one of them to have at least 12, 13 points from Thornton before I'm like, yeah, I gotta have that guy. You know, I don't want him having like a 4, you know, next week a 4 point and then having like a 3 point you know, to me, then you're useless. But I mean, if he's going to be putting up, you know, 10, 11 fantasy, he's worth picking up on the bench. Absolutely. As long as Zappi's, you know, in a quarterback, but you know, go ahead with that.
I would just think, you know, it all depends on, I mean, I'll just say the top 5 guys, maybe that are out there. You got Wan'Dale Robinson, Robbie Anderson, possibly Thornton, Hardman, and maybe Carter, or some of the guys that might be some, you know, guys that you might be looking at. If out of those 5 guys, who would you prioritize quicker, or not quicker, but who would you prioritize if you needed somebody? You know what I mean?
I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't touch DeAndre Carter because I want to strangle Keenan Allen. I want to just grab his bald head and just but no, I think he'll be back. I mean, they're playing Seattle's defense, so that's a friendly matchup. So I think Keenan Allen's going to be back this week.
Finally. I don't know. I'm not sure. Hopefully.
He's been a game time decision the last fucking 5 weeks or whatever. No, so Carter definitely not touching. Hardman, he's you know, in a pinch. If you're truly in a pinch in like a bigger league, yeah, you know, sure. But there's just you never know because there's so many. I mean, Jerick McKinnon gets points. The backup tight end of Kelsey gets. I mean, everybody's getting points at Kansas City. They spread it out. So it's just hard to, you know, unless you got Kelsey or even Juju. There's weeks where Juju. I mean, Juju's still a productive receiver. He doesn't do jack. There's some weeks where he gets 3 fantasy points. You know, it's just you just can't predict with that offense. So the guy I'm targeting, because I don't think the Giants have much else, and they're going to be going for it. I think Wan'Dale Robinson. I think with all the injuries they've had and will continue to have, that he's going to be a solid. I think he'd be their number 2 receiver. I think he'd be
Yeah,
I think,
it's very possible. I mean, wait, well, shit. Thinking about it, about trades, maybe maybe Kenny Galladay gets traded or something like that. Maybe he gets the boot. You know?
Yeah, Brian Dable, the head coach, Dable doesn't like him. Dable's like, yeah, dude, you don't fit my offense. You know, and they're trying to do. I mean, they're 5-1, obviously, but they're doing a culture change over there. They're like, no, if you're not on board with how we're gonna run things, I'll ship your ass out. I'll send you back to Detroit. You'll be catching passes Jared Goff again.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, if you have an opportunity to, yeah, Rondell Robinson, if Robbie Anderson's out there, maybe doesn't hurt. Go pick him up.
I think in a pinch, you can get some stuff out of Robbie Anderson. Absolutely. I think in a pinch, obviously if it's a 10-man, I'm not touching Robbie, but if it's a 12 or 16, yeah, I'm definitely consider picking up Robbie. And in a 16, I'd actually consider starting Robbie Anderson. Like with the bye week, with the bye weeks coming up, you're gonna need guys like him to have the pop. Like, hey, Robbie, I need 40 yards and a touchdown. Go get it for me. Kind of thing.
And right now, I mean, he's only 13% rostered in a lot of Yahoo leagues. That's even deeper leagues too. I mean, he's still out there and available. So I mean, it's
snag him up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at trying to get him in a couple other different leagues, and I didn't really have an opportunity to kind of look to see who was all on the waiver wire. But it's just like, who maybe I was thinking about Rondell Robinson myself too a little bit in some other leagues, and I'm like, maybe he might be a good ad. So. I'm actually 5-1 in our league.
16 man. Yeah, you're number 2. You're the number 2 guy right now. You got it going on. That team is firing on all cylinders. Let's get the little NASCAR plug in here while we're bringing up car talk here. I got to take a left turn, no pun intended. You see that clown, but yeah, you better listen up, Chad. You see that clown Bubba Wallace yesterday? Or sorry, Sunday?
Actually, I didn't watch the race at all because I watched a little bit of football, then I dozed off, and then I woke up. So I didn't watch everything. But yeah, I was actually going to check out the race and see because I'm playing your brother in fantasy NASCAR. I was going to see how my team did, and then I seen this, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, dude, the dude can't even drive. Like, I saw the replays, and it's just like, Kyle didn't even touch you, dude, and he just like literally just went because he got rubbed just a little bit, and just goes and wipes him out for no fucking reason. It's like, dude, that's messed up.
How this man has won 2 cup races, I'll never know. They must. Maybe you and I could hop in a cup car and go and win some race. I mean, if it's that easy that somebody as untalented as Bubba Wallace can win 2 of these things, I mean, and his reaction. Remember a couple of years ago when Kyle Larson. That's why Kyle Larson lost his job. I think it was 2020.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. When they supposedly they were friends, and they were playing video games with each other, and then he called him the N-word. Just kind of like in a friendly man. And Larson's like Japanese, so it's not even. I don't even think it's racist. It's like he's probably just calling him. We've called each other names before, and it's like
most definitely.
It's like a term of endearment, But yeah, so I mean, I don't know if it stemmed from that maybe or what. Wallace said he was cool with it, but. Anyways, and some of the other, he's a clown. He's a clown. He's got all these sponsors. He's got, Jordan and Denny Hamlin backing him, and he's got all this, great equipment, and they give him the best of everything, and he can't even make the change. I mean, Jamie, they've downsized. This is my little NASCAR. I've been waiting months for this. So they downsized the field. They used to be 43 cars, and now it's down to like 38, 36. They're downsizing the field, right? So, and there's not that many full-time drivers anymore. There's a lot, it's almost it's almost like the NBA or even NFL now. It's like half the teams make the playoffs. So I mean, almost half of so pretty much half the full-time teams in NASCAR make the playoffs, and this clown isn't good enough to do. It's like, come on, man. He's 19th in points. just get out of here. You finished 36th in this race. It's just he's the most overrated driver since Danica Patrick.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Danica's even a better driver than him.
I would. If you pop them both in Formula One cars, Danica versus Bubba, have them go on, a 3-mile road course track, whatever, anywhere in the world, she would beat him 10 times out of 10.
But yeah, what is it? Kyle Busch.
Sorry, that was my NASCAR rant, Chad.
Kyle Busch is going to a different team, and Kurt Busch is retiring.
Oh no shit! I used to love Kurt Busch. That guy was crazy.
Yeah.
What about where's Kyle Busch going?
I think he's going RCR now.
Oh, he's going to Childress?
Yeah, I think he's going somewhere. He's going somewhere. He's getting odd.
Is he going to own part of the team, or is he getting in the?
I can't remember which.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not sure exactly. I just know he's going to a different team. I don't know if it was RCR or what. I can't remember. It was one of the lower graded teams a little bit. Not the really heavy hitters.
That's man. Well, he's still a great driver. I mean, he's still high up there in the points and winning races. I mean, I think, I would assume at this juncture, he's a. By the way, those Rowdy energy drinks, they're not very good. So, Kyle, you kind of missed the mark on the energy. Yeah, those Rowdy drink. Yeah, no, yeah, I said it. Yeah, those the ones. They're not very good. So
you're done. You're done, son. Get out of here.
He missed the mark. He missed the mark, and he missed the mark on joining this team because I don't think he's getting any ownership in Childress. He should have went to Roush. If you want ownership in the team,
I think it is Roush. I can't remember exactly.
Go to a smaller team. Childress is still a pretty decent size. Go to a smaller team and go get ownership. I mean, if he's trying to be an entrepreneur, like if he's trying to kind of set up his post racing career, which is fine, I would go. I'd go that route. I wouldn't. I don't know. At this point, I mean, the guy's a 2-time champ and he's won a ton of races. It's like it's almost beneath him to go to a team like Childress and not have part ownership or. That's just my 2 cents on it. Oh man. While we're not talking about football for a second, let me get this opening tip tonight. NBA. You got the Celtics and Sixers on in the background somewhere? Or?
No, actually I don't. Actually, not offhand.
I got to get that on, dude. No, this will be a great year. And then it's the Lakers and Warriors coming up later.
Yep, I actually did a couple DFS lineups. I did a $2 and a $2 entry.
What do you got? Yeah, run down your team quick while we're on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll run down here quick.
Sure.
Yeah, I filled it out last night and I was like, all right. So I got 2 different lineups. Oh shit, I missed out on one guy. Damn, I don't know if I can swap him out or not.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Never mind.
Both teams are just the Lakers and Warriors.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was actually looking at NHL for some odd reason.
Oh.
Yeah,
they're not careful. We'll get into that too. Shit.
Yeah. All right. So my NBA lineup here, I have Terrence Tyrese Maxey.
I got him.
I got
teams too, yeah.
Yep. I got Klay Thompson. I got I have Malcolm Brogdon. Yep. And I got Jaylen Brown. I got Daryl Green. I got Joe Embiid. I got and then I got Tobias Harris. And then I have a guy named Austin Reeves in one of my lineups.
So
far I got 94 points so far.
So they must be in like I have to see a score update.
Yeah.
Probably at halftime maybe, but
yeah.
We can probably that's something we might further episode because Jamie commissions a fantasy basketball league and and I joined up with him this year. So that's we might bring up some basketball segments too. Just little snippets for if you guys do any of that
Oh,
stuff.
you didn't do so you didn't. Were you able to do that auction draft or no?
No, I didn't until my brother said. He's like, yeah, I'm doing an auction draft with Miller. I'm like, oh, like I didn't, my brother in Florida. I didn't even know that was happening. I know I missed our draft too, like the basketball draft. I mean, the team looks pretty deep. I was looking at it. And I like some of my players, but
yeah,
I didn't have a chance to do it. But that looked neat. I mean, I would be in like a separate, thing, and maybe we could even throw it up on here. It's kind of late now, the season started, but I mean, that'd be something I'm down to try, whether it's, whatever, a different sport, like, springtime, if you want to do an auction draft for baseball, I'm down to try an auction draft. I just I didn't know this basketball one was happening. And obviously hockey and basketball are starting, and, baseball is just about done. So football obviously has been, so yeah, I'm down to, in the springtime, if you're commissioning a baseball league, I'll be down for an auction draft. But I know my brother said it took. He said the basketball one took about 2 hours, 45 minutes, is what he was saying.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
But he said it was interesting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna change my football my 2 quarterback league. I'm actually gonna change that to an auction league because I think that would spice things up a little bit more, especially when it comes to the 2 QBs, because you want good quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't want to do. I'm not in the 10-man, but I'd be willing to try it out if it's because I mean, we've been doing this so freaking long, dude. It's like, if I'm gonna do I want to do different varieties of because if you're gonna invest your time. I want to do different varieties of leagues. I want to do like this format, that. I don't want to just do like 3 12-man, you know what I mean? Just basic.
Yeah.
Or do basic snake drafts. I mean, we've done how many of those, so
yeah. I've done so many snake drafts in 13, 14 some odd years. It's like, all right, time to change it up a little bit. And when I was able to actually try a auction draft, I'm like, it was actually a little bit more exciting, a little bit more like, okay, well, I got this much money, I can maybe get this guy on my team, So and then it usually comes down to value wise. I mean, it's everybody's like, well, they don't put numbers on people, but you kind of put value on guys when you're drafting. So it's almost the same concept. But you're just using a little bit of fake money.
Yeah, well, it's no different than what people. I mean, I guess there's a set value if you play Monopoly. There's a set value for Boardwalk or part. Those little cards, but but no, I mean, you have to know what you're doing because you'll run out of money. I mean, you might be 5 players in, like, oh, shit, I've spent all my, and then you're screwed. So you have to use a little bit of restraint, which I wish our government would. That's why we're $28 trillion in debt. But stay out of that. But. No, I think it looks interesting. I wish we could do a mock one. I wish just to kick the tires on it, because I've never done an auction draft. I wish we could find one that was a mock and we could put it up as an episode of the podcast. Is what I wish we could do.
We could probably actually do that on Sleeper. I'll have to dig into that and maybe
take a look. Maybe
I can take a look at it. I think you can do the mock drafts like season long wise. I'm very possible that you can do that in one, and we could try to do an auction draft and see what happens. Just maybe do like a 30-minute thing and see how it goes. And
yeah, I'm totally game for that.
Yeah. So anyway, we should get back quick. We got totally off track here.
It's fine. It's fine. They out of rhythm. It's in the name.
Yep. Running backs.
We were about in terms of picking up or like waivers.
It's
slim pickings, man. Slim pickings.
Yeah. So you got so these are kind of some of the guys out there. Kenyon Drake. Do we pick up Kenyon Drake?
Jay, let me bring this up quick. My thought. I didn't draft my 16-man team. Obviously, like, well, you have J.K. Dobbins. I didn't want J.K. Dobbins. I think he's fragile. And he's on a pitch count too this year. And it's like, I'm not the biggest Jake. I wasn't at Ohio State, not here. Just want to get that in. I think they're gonna work him out of the rotation. I do. I think Kenyon Drake, he's great this time of the year. You know, if you need a good chunk for 3-4 weeks, Kenyon Drake is your guy. I mean, I wouldn't bank on him being your starting running back or your flex guy in the playoffs. Let's say you got a 12, 16, you know, you're in a playoff situation, week 15 or so. I wouldn't go with him then, but right now, Kenyon Drake, I think he is priority one. I think he is a priority one running back. You bid for him, you put it, you claim, whatever you got to do. I am that high on Kenyon Drake for these next couple weeks. He's a short-term solution, and this is great right now with all these buys kicking in. I don't know what you think of Drake, but in a short situation with bye weeks coming up, he's the perfect guy to slip in there.
So who would you? So if you're prioritizing Kenyon Drake, who would you drop? Who would be somebody you drop for something like him? Would you drop Tyler Algier? I'm trying to think of some other names offhand that you would drop for somebody like him.
Algier, absolutely. I would drop Algier. I would drop. It's going to surprise maybe a few people. I dropped Michael Carter.
Yeah. If you have Michael Carter out there, he might even be on.
The way Breece Hall's been coming on, Jamie, I think Breece Hall is quickly becoming the feature back and, like, you know, the 20-plus carry guy, where Michael Carter is, if anything, he'd be a red zone touchdown, you know, kind of and I hate to say it, what's kind of happening right now to James Robinson.
Oh,
kind of becoming
what about? Go ahead. Sorry,
James. Speaking of James Robinson, I think he's in that situation where I still think he's got too much value to drop. I think he needs to be on your bench. Like I wouldn't play James, and I'm not going to either. I wouldn't play James Robinson right now, but I think he's too good to. And ETN the same thing. I think those two guys are too good to bench or you know, drop. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about how long can you be patient with, say, Cam Akers? Like let's say you have Cam Akers, like Buddy in 12-man, like he's got Cam.
I wouldn't. If he's done, I wouldn't. I mean, if you need to help, I'll be trading him. I'd dump him in a heartbeat.
So we're clear. So you trade him or you would drop him?
I would
bench trade drop.
I would actually drop Cam Akers for Kenyon Drake. They're on bye. You know, they're on bye this week, so
We're on the same wavelength. I was thinking the same. Yeah, I would too. I'm not a Cam Akers. I'm not. He's a lot like Dobbins. Like he you know, 3rd year back, injury history. I think Henderson Jr. is a better running back. And shit. I mean, Gus Edmonds is coming back.
Gus Edwards.
Yeah, or Edward. Sorry, I'm thinking of Chase. Gus Edwards coming back. He's going to be getting a few carries. So yeah, it might be between him and Drake, but right now, I mean, while the iron's hot, I mean, get that bitch in the fire and go get Kenyon Drake. Yeah, and Cam Akers, he's dead to me.
Well, what about
Buddy,
here?
Buddy, if you're listening, get rid of him.
If you got Chase Edmonds, he's a good drop. Chase Edmonds is drop. I already dropped. I already dropped Chase Edmonds in some leagues already. I had him, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. I was honestly personally just done.
I guess you could justify that the way Raheem Mostert's been coming on. I mean, Mostert's picking up steam, dude. He's starting to take off there. He's getting it, you know, in McDaniel's offense, and it's hard because Chase Edmonds, to me, he was in that same boat as James Robinson, where he was like too good to drop. But I don't know. I guess if you're in a 10-man, I drop him. But if you're in a bit deeper league, like you're in a 16-man, I wouldn't drop Chase Edmonds.
You're
in a league like that. I mean, one of these sharks is going to come in and swap him. You drop him in a 16-man, somebody's going to come in.
Maybe, possibly. It all depends too, but I'm sure they're not playing him. He's going to be on the bench. Maybe if he actually turns it, maybe if their offense changes a little bit. Maybe he gets some more touches. Maybe he changes something, and there's some good. Maybe he's good at the second half of this year. Maybe he'll be some good trade bait. So, but I guess those are some guys I know.
Damian Harris.
Pollard. Yeah.
Before you get to Pollard,
Yep.
Damian Harris from New England. Stevenson has been Stevenson's. He's damn near, pretty soon, man. He might be a top 10 running back pretty soon. I mean, the way he's been playing.
Yep.
I mean, he's starting to tear it up, and Damian Harris was a touchdown machine last year. But like as we've seen, I mean, the league just changes like that. I mean, you can be. Derrick Henry was he's still great, but he was the best running back in the league the last probably three years. And this year he's kind of regressed a little. He's not even in the top 5. So, I mean, the league just changes like that. So, I mean, Damian Harris could be irrelevant, come in the coming weeks. So that's somebody I would consider dropping is Damian Harris from New England.
So, we got about
with Pollard. I think you were going to.
Yeah, I was going to mention him. Maybe not, but maybe not a drop. But I think it's
benching.
Maybe good benching, but I think that kind of maybe wraps up the whole running back. I guess.
Who do you trade for? Okay, like in the 12-man league that we do with my brother.
You beat me. You beat me this weekend. I was pissed. I was fucking pissed.
I didn't take, obviously I want to take the W, eat the dub. But no, I don't, like I said, with you, it's like I don't take any. I mean, if it was for a championship, yeah, I'd be more cocky, but I don't take any because that hurts both. It's like I don't take any pride in beating you. And I think you don't, same thing with you. It's kind of an awkward, like, sorry, dude,
Yeah. I mean, when it came to that game, I feel for you. I feel for you, and I feel for anybody that's got Charger. Josh in our couple leagues, he's got Herbert and a bunch. Mike Williams, I think he's got in both leagues. There's certain guys I feel bad for because Keenan Allen is screwing everybody. He's screwing it. He's the Keenan. I call it the their butterfly effect. That movie. This is the Keenan Allen effect. He's affecting everybody. Like him being out, the Chargers. Herbert's just not this. I mean, he's still great, but he's just not. He's not that 353 touchdown guy. He's not elite. Top 3 quarterback. But Keenan Allen affects everything because they don't. Yep. Mike Williams is not a number 1 receiver. Josh Palmer is not a number 2. He's like a number 3. DeAndre Carter is maybe a number 4. So it's like these guys all have to move up a notch. Gerald Everett's a solid tight end. He's not great. And he's having to do more than he's capable of. It's pretty much all on the shoulders of Austin Eckler. But you have. I was just to say you had Herbert, and I was like, in the matchup, and I was like, I feel for you. I mean, he's not. I mean, what do you? Yeah, I was.
Everybody, because he's a game time decision every week. You can't IR this guy. You can't. Nobody wants to trade. I've tried to trade him twice in our 16 man. You can't get rid of him. He's like that. He's like Govier's cold. You can't get rid of him.
So if you need a running back, would you pick up Murray or Hilliard if it came to be? I don't know, Gus Edwards. I'm not sure on that, but maybe Murray. If Boone's out there, maybe you can get Boone.
Jerick McKinnon. That's the guy I think you might be able to get that. He puts up some deceptive good weeks for Kansas City. He's a touchdown vulture. That's pretty much his role. I mean, CEH is obviously the every down back right now, but I've seen a lot of times where they have Jerick in there in the Wildcat, or he's in goal line back, so he's got value there. And then a guy I would trade for that I think people aren't very high on right now is I think Connor. I think James Conner. You could get some value from it because people have been sleeping on James Conner here.
Yeah,
I think he'd be a good running back to trade for because his values a little bit. I mean, he's not the 15 touchdown monster he was last year, but I mean, I think he could be productive in the second half of the year. If the Cardinals ever get their shit together, I think he can be very, and it would help too if Kyler get the passing game going. I think that would benefit the running game too, obviously, and Ertz and all those guys involved. So a guy you could probably get pretty cheap right now that I would trade for, James Conner. Do you have anybody you would trade for before we move?
Not really, not offhand. Let's get into a couple let's get into some QBs. We'll kind of talk some tight ends,
okay,
and then we'll probably try to wrap this up here pretty shortly. If there's any quarterbacks out there,
cigar,
right?
That's
Matt,
freaking show.
I'm gonna change here real quick. Let's do kind of more of a 12-man. I know with smaller leagues, there's gonna be quite a few like QBs and stuff like that out there. I mean, there's gonna be a handful of people. I guess 2 QBs. I guess that's very limited too. Hopefully, like maybe you guys ended up in your drafts that you actually drafted a third guy. Because I know when I do drafts, I always drafted another guy. So you have that bye relief guy, unless you get hurt. All right. QBs. So most of the QBs right now, you got Matt Ryan, Goff is out there, Daniel Jones, Zappe, Heineke. I don't know. What about out of those guys, is there any guys out there that you like?
In a short-term situation, depending on it's all situational, I would say. If you have a Dak situation, like if Dak's your quarterback and you have like somebody like Matt Ryan that you could pick up as a backup, you could probably stick Matt Ryan in there for another week or two. Can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, I mean he's at least putting up yards. It's counts for something. I mean, some of these quarterbacks Stafford ain't doing shit. So I mean, there's some guys that are barely cracking 12 points fantasy. So I mean, if Matt Ryan can get you even 18, and that's better than what some of these starters are doing. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Russ. Yeah, I would say with say Matt Ryan, and then if you're in a 16-man, Zappe as a backup, yeah, I like that. And then Goff, I think in a 16-man, Goff could probably start easily. Maybe
Dallas.
Maybe even in a bye week. Like, say you got a bye week coming up here. Like, if you have Jalen Hurts because the Eagles have a bye week,
yeah,
I'd stick Jared Goff in there. Hell yeah, go pick Jared Goff or Jimmy G.
Yeah,
I'd feel comfortable sticking Jimmy G in there. I'd feel comfortable sticking Goff in there. Absolutely.
So if you needed some guy, a guy, which out of these guys, who would you like more likely pick up?
Jared Goff.
One.
Jared Goff.
Oh. But they're playing Dallas, so.
I mean they can't stop a nosebleed, but I mean, Goff isn't having. I mean, he's not the greatest, but he hasn't been having these stinkers like Wentz has, or some of these other guys that are of his caliber. He's gonna, to me, he's gonna put up at least 250 and a touchdown. That Detroit offense is firing. It's just the defense that's pathetic.
Yeah, maybe they rebooted after they having a week off, so maybe they'll come out looking better.
Maybe, yeah.
I would go with Zappe and Heineke. The Patriots got the Bears Monday night, so I mean I can see the Bears not doing shit. Patriots just loading up off them. Heineke, I think he's played fairly well when they play against Green Bay.
How about this? How about the Patriots defense? How about you try to snag them up? Or we don't ever talk about defenses or kickers.
Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, I mean they'll probably get some. They played pretty good this weekend.
If somehow New England's defense is sitting there, I mean that's I'm feasting. I put in for the Jets defense because they're playing Cleveland. Cleveland's not the greatest offense either.
Speaking of the devil, they're the highest ads of the week of 10,000 ads.
Good.
Then you got Vegas. You got Vegas after that. You got Arizona, New York. The Jets are actually their defense has actually been playing pretty good too. Their defenses turned around.
They have. Salah's got those boys playing, and their
defense this morning they're actually their defense is number 2. They're number 2 ranked, and I think it's passing, rushing, or whatever. They're up there, so it's just like holy shit. And while they got those couple those
those
they
corners,
got
Sauce Gardner, dude.
Yep.
He, you know, a couple years from now, he'll be if not right now, he'll be the best corner in the league. I mean, he's great.
Yep. I actually thinking of that. I actually might try and go pick him up in an IDP league.
Yeah, in your defense.
I was thinking. I was thinking about that a little bit.
He's
I'm like,
available. What?
Yeah,
what
he
is.
Sauce,
what the fuck? Go snag that boy up. Hell
I know, right? For sure. But New York against Denver, I could probably see New York kind of maybe beat. I don't think Denver is going to win that game.
No. The Broncos are. I mean, I'm going to eat a shit sandwich, Jamie. I had them winning and competing with the Chargers in that division.
For sure.
They're bad.
But it's a couple defense, the Jets, New England, maybe Vegas against Houston, New York, maybe against Jacksonville. I think those are some of the top four defenses right now. I think so. They're playing weaker teams. So
in a kicker too. While we're on kind of the less glamorized positions, Jason Myers from Seattle. He's the last 4 games he's been in double digits for points. So if you need kind of and I know he's available in a bunch of different leagues because I've looked. If you need Jason Myers from Seattle, he and the way they've been scoring points, absolutely. I think he's easily. I think he might be in the top, probably in the top 10 in kicker fantasy points too. We don't really.
Yeah, he's actually been kicking pretty well. 11, 14, 10, 13. So yeah, I mean, if their offense can't do anything, they're gonna be kicking it for sure.
Absolutely.
So I mean, he would be a great. I mean, he's only 11% rostered, so I mean, he'd be a great ad. And there's only one team that's got him, so I probably would.
Hell yeah, go snag him up.
Yeah. We get roughly about 5 minutes left or so. So is there anything else that you brought up we kind of talked some NBA stuff a little bit. Is there anything else that you guys, make sure you guys, if anybody wants to join there, we have a Discord. It's actually I added a few other things. I got some NBA, and I got the baseball in there too a little bit. I'm
gonna give an update quick on your boy Tyrese Maxey, the guy on your DFS basketball lineup tonight, and he's on one of he's in the Midwest Hoops is the name. So if you guys hear it in the future or whatever, like Midwest Hoops is Jamie's league, and so we'll we might mention that name or whatever down the line. Tyrese Maxey, so far he's got 9 points, 2 assists, and a steal. So he's having they're in the third quarter, so maybe he'll get a few more points, but a decent start to the season.
Most definitely.
See if he can close out strong here, but I thought I'd just bring that up. We'll get into Jamie might even bring up hockey too. I mean we're gonna try to work in kind of break up the football. Tuesday football is our meal ticket. Obviously that's our bread and butter, but kind of. Oh, I didn't see that on the bottom. Speaking of football, so what? Haven't we talked about enough about Russell Wilson? Jesus, so he's day to day with a hamstring. Like what is this? Flat? What is this eyeball hanging out to? Get this clown out of here. Get him out of here,
right?
Before he really loses that locker room, man. Jesus. But so you think he's going to play? I mean, not that it matters. I mean, he might be you might be benching him this week, and I know you have Russ in 12 man. You think he's going to play this week?
I know. I had to play him because he was actually looking pretty good. I'm like, oh shit, dude. I'm like, this is awesome, dude. And then I'm like, I needed something a little bit more from those both. They didn't me at all. Like, what the hell? I was kind of like, this game was not going anywhere, and it's like, oh my god, that's why it pissed me off so much, because these games it was kind of like, what the hell, man?
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just weird.
I was gonna say this is a good question here, because this is something that might be applicable to whoever else too. Do you go with Russ or do you go with Zach Wilson this week?
Ooh.
They're playing. They're actually playing. They're actually playing each other.
Damn.
Yeah. I thought I said the Jets were playing the Brown. I mistook. They're playing the Broncos. B teams. I was thinking so many different. No, they're actually playing each other this week. Do you go with Russ or do you go with Zach Wilson? And then we'll start wrapping it up.
Ooh. If I had to, I would take a risk on Zach Wilson.
I would too. I mean, this Denver defense is great, but I mean, Russ. I mean, until he puts up a couple 20-point weeks, he's not worth it. He's not. I don't even know if he's. Man, I mean, he might have one or two 20-point games all year.
Yeah.
No, I tell. Well, he's already. No, I take it back. He's already had two. Okay, he's at a 22 and a 31. So yeah, he's. But yeah, he might not have another one the rest of the year the way that offense is playing. So yeah, Zach Wilson might be worth putting in. Absolutely.
Crazy, man.
And you're playing the worst guy in the league. You're playing the 0-6 guy. So I don't think you need a lot for Zach Wilson to win. So
yeah, probably not. That's for damn sure.
Okay.
Well, guys, I think that kind of wraps up everything. I just re-mentioned my Discord link is in the description too. So yeah, make sure you guys, if you guys want to join up, it's all free to enter. I mean, I got a lot of categories in there: the DFS talk, trades, any almost auction leagues. I think auction leagues. I mean, trade talk. I mean, I also post some of my edits from the week for fantasy point wise. Football or QBs, running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, stuff like that. I didn't do any defense stuff like that, but yeah, I do some of that stuff up in there. Yeah, is there anything? I think that kind of covers everything. Oh, if you guys like our stuff on YouTube, hit that subscribe.
Subscribe.
Maybe a like in there somewhere if you like our content. I know. I think it helps us to get out there
or share it. Share the link. If you know any football fans or people that kind of. I mean, we follow the product a lot more than. I mean, there's people I know that like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that happened on Sunday or Monday or even Thursday. People, so we try to highlight a lot of this stuff. So, if you want somebody that just wants a brief little overview or especially waivers, I mean, we hit waivers pretty hard in the show. So if you're you have questions about your team, we try to answer a lot of those. So yeah, if you know anybody that needs a little help with the team or doesn't, kind of doesn't follow the product as hard as we do, let's, share it. And we'll wisen them. We'll smarten them up, Jamie. Smarten them up.
I mean, who knows? The pod might change a little bit throughout the season. Just don't know which our direction
Whatever we feel like. Yeah, it's our show.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell we feel like.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where we're kind of doing like this as football. We'll see what likes and what doesn't like. If it might change some of our content that we put out there. Just don't know yet. So we'll pretty much come back after the year's over and see what works and what doesn't work and see if you need to change anything, so yeah, I think that kind of does everything. So
yeah, boy.
So from the guys from All the Rhythm, I'm Jamie.
Eli.
We hope you guys have a nice, wonderful Tuesday night evening.
See you Friday. Follow the league shows. We got 12-man, 16-man, week 6 review, week 7 preview. We got all that good stuff. Should be about an hour show or so. So if you like this, come back Friday.
Yes. And Anthony. Chad.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into we'll get into Anthony on Friday too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
More Anthony.
Well, Chad. Talk. Yeah. Well, Chad, appreciate you always viewing, commenting. So
yeah. Thanks, Chad. Have a good night.
All right, guys. We're out of here later.
Deuces.